I'm sitting here with my three sons. Welcome to another edition of Still Strong Podcast.
What's up, everybody? I'm Isaiah Steele.
Hey, what's up? I'm Isaac Steele.
I'm Irish still. What's up, y'all?
And we're going to start out first things first. We got to talk about Diddy. I've formerly known as Puff Daddy. Then he went to Puffy. Now he's Diddy. Now is Diddy do it? Because we don't know. We don't know what in the world is going on with his whole situation. Obviously, we just found out that his house got raided in L.A. He's obviously in like Antigua somewhere. They canceled the flight. All kinds of stuff's coming out. They're finding cameras. They're saying there's underage kids involved. They're saying obviously drugs are involved. Some type of pink dolphin drug or something they talking about. All kinds of stuff that's going on. His
sons got arrested.
His sons got arrested.
Yeah.
I mean, his assistant got arrested.
His drug mule got arrested.
Yeah, his drug mule, who actually played at Syracuse. I
Yeah.
don't know if y'all saw that.
Oh,
He had a
wow.
dude that, some guy. Long story short, man, it's a whole mess. I don't know what y'all been hearing, but I mean, what y'all take on it?
Man, go ahead, Ira. I don't.
Nah, honestly, I've been seeing it. And, Diddy's been known, or Puffy, whatever you want to call him. He's been known for, to be kind of the party guy, a little wild, kind of off the hinges.
Mm-hmm.
This has kind of been his rep since he got on.
Probably since the 90s.
Yeah, since like he first got on, he was known for, being kind of living on the edge. I think stuff's just catching up, to him. Of course, his sons are here now. His sons are around my age. With the power of social media, everything, I can see how like it blew up into something bigger. They're saying that there's, potentially, bodies involved, like, stuff like that. I don't know what's going on. Of course, it's all speculation. He clearly hasn't been, he hasn't had his day in court yet, so
Right.
we just talking, speculating. So I don't know. It's a crazy situation. And, some people saying that they saying Tupac in heaven smiling right now.
And Biggie,
that's
too,
funny.
man.
Nah.
Shoot, I mean, at the end of the day, and then I guess they found over 100 cameras in in the house and bedrooms and bathrooms everywhere. They found these little microscopic cameras in his house.
way.
Somebody posted a picture of that.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then you know how it is. They just don't come kick your door down. You know what I mean?
Sure,
They have
right.
to have concrete evidence. And I'm
A
hearing
warrant.
too. Yeah, I'm saying a warrant. I'm hearing speculation that there's people that could have been in the house, like informants, people that could have been, sent to those parties, whatever, looking around, snooping. Because like I said, they don't just kick your door down unless they have concrete evidence that a judge can sign off of and say, okay, y'all can go in there. So it's crazy. I just can't wait till that Netflix doc comes out, man. When everything finishes up, so we can get full details.
I believe that, and I'm 52. He's 54, so he's a couple years older than me. So I've watched his whole career for the most part. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. God will tolerate your weakness, but he won't tolerate your wickedness. Now, I know they say you're innocent till proven guilty. Not today. You're guilty till proven innocent. You know what I'm saying? The times have changed.
what they say in the court of public opinion.
Court of public opinion, he's guilty as get out. And it's unfortunate because we've heard rumors for years. We've seen things for years.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate. I believe that he's been literally overtaken by different spirits. And the Bible talks about how, if you don't retain God and his knowledge, he said, I'll give you over to a reprobate mind. Right. If you're taking notes, that's in Romans 1:28. And it's unfortunate because even Romans 1:25 says that they have exchanged the truth of God for a lie. And so now we're talking underage boys.
Right.
Again, for the feds to come in, they've been watching this brother for years.
They got concrete evidence.
Concrete.
They
dude. I
kicking
mean,
down the concrete. They got concrete evidence.
Yeah, literally. As y'all say a lot, y'all hear me say a lot, cancel Christmas. This brother might be canceled a lot of Christmases.
Right, man.
You're right.
He might be in the same pod with R. Kelly.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
He does have more money though than R. Kelly. R. Kelly's broke, man.
I mean, you Google, I think he right around 6, 7,
Yeah.
800 million.
Yeah, he got a whole bunch of money.
Unlike R. Kelly.
R. Kelly could couldn't fight it.
Yeah.
He couldn't do it.
You know, but this situation is not looking good for like y'all said, Puff Daddy, Puffy,
Yeah.
P Diddy, aka Sean Combs.
Love, they call him
That to
Brother
me, when you
Love.
start changing your name,
Used to always, that used to always
That
bother me.
bothers
I
me.
remember being
Yeah.
a kid and like he went from Puffy to Diddy.
Yeah.
I remember you being so annoyed with that. Like it bothered you.
I hate confusion.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you're a creature of habit. You don't like
yeah,
change.
I don't like
Yeah,
change.
yeah.
You know what?
Maybe
you know,
one or two, maybe one change, but like he
Man,
changed his
I
name
don't-
about 4 times.
Yeah, he didn't change
Come
his
on,
name
bro.
for it. That just shows you how confused he is in his own mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's where he is now. He's a narcissist. You know, he's entitled. And because what money does a lot of times, it just magnifies who you are.
Yep.
And we see it right now. I mean, this brother is in Antigua, and and his kids have been arrested, and it's just a shit show.
100%.
It
And
really
one thing,
is.
one thing
It
I've
really is.
noticed about like celebrities, like Diddy, you know, people that hit this certain level of fame, they miss those early steps of of development as a young adult. You know, think about it. These guys are getting thrown money. You know, rappers, actors, entertainers. You know, whoever else, they're getting thrown so much money at a young age that they don't go through the proper steps of a regular, college student or person fresh out of college trying to figure life out.
Right.
Those real, those real
core values.
those years are big from, let's say, 22 to 27. Those are big years, or 22 to 30.
Right.
Those are huge years for you to, learn how to live a certain way, have your habits. But think about it. If you're throwing, so much money at a young age, 19, 20, 21 years old, it's just, it's going to come back to bite you, especially in your 50s and your 40s.
Right.
So, like, he has a 2-year-old, like a 1-year-old. Like, this dude's 54, got a little kid. It's like, clearly this dude just living his life how he wants to live, like a king. And, you can, I don't blame him. But at the same time, this dude, running from the feds. So it's like, was it worth it?
It wasn't.
Yeah.
You missed out on responsibility, organization, dedication. Committedness, whatever the word is. But that's a really good example though, because at that age you really got to learn those core values. It's almost like the what is it? The characters, like responsibility, integrity.
character counts.
The character counts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
you're
a
missing out on those things, and you get thrown all that money. You just gonna live reckless.
And
you really are.
and you think that your way is the only way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's
My
not.
God.
It's just not. You gotta. There's laws. There's orders. How it should be. You're not above the law.
right.
And
So,
it's sad
yeah.
because the Bible says that it didn't say money is the root of all evil. It says the love of money, because we need money. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, Ecclesiastes 10 and 19 says, money, it answereth all things. Even Ecclesiastes 7 and 12, it says that wisdom is a defense and money is a defense. So we need money in order to survive in this world, or you be out on these streets for real. But nevertheless, it says the love of money is the root of all evil. And, and again, like I said earlier, it's really magnified who he is, because money, they say the difference between a rich man and a poor man is options.
100%.
And he got a lot of options.
Listen.
Yeah, too many
And those
options.
options can get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Some people don't need success. I preach that from my pulpit.
Some people don't need options.
They don't need options. They don't need success. They don't need to see the goodness of God, because really, if their character can't handle it, man, listen, you'll be in a P. Diddy / R. Kelly situation.
Yeah, but even look at like Making the Band, how controlling he was and narcissistic he
Yeah.
was, even
forgot
in that
about Making
show.
the
You know what
Band.
I'm saying? He was telling them dudes. Remember, Dave Chappelle was like, "Go get me a milk,
Yeah.
bro.
Sugar cookie.
yeah, some
Yeah.
sugar cookies."
Yeah,
you
go
know,
down to-
then I
yeah.
open up the studio again.
Yeah. Yeah, like
then he
they-
had old boy
yeah.
calling him. He was like, "Daddy, when we gonna hang out?"
Which is
That's
so
when I was.
crazy.
That's when I was. Red flags went up for me when I heard him on somebody's podcast saying, "Daddy, when we gonna hang out?"
Well, Charlamagne
What-
the God asked him about that.
What'd he say?
And he was just kind of like, man, I don't know. Like, basically saying, like, let's leave that alone. Let's go to a different topic. Because I honestly think that, like you said, the wickedness part has taken him over to the point where, he sees good as evil and evil is good.
Yeah.
And, obviously, we're not homophobic or any
Right,
way, shape, or
right,
form.
not at all.
Of all people.
But to see that as a 54-year-old man taking advantage, and if there are underage people involved, I mean, you got to do your time. Like it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's never been right.
Right.
It never will be right. And at the end of the day, but like Ira mentioned, he been living a certain way since he was 20, 21, 22 years old.
Yeah.
His brain probably has still that age, obviously. When you said he's 54,
Yeah, 54.
that blew my mind. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've never looked at Diddy as somebody that could be literally my father and older than my father. You know, but the way he's moving and doing things, you know, now, shoot, it was coming down the pipe, man. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the whole situation in itself, like we said, we don't really know all the details, but it's gonna come out. You know, just like with R. Kelly's situation, it eventually came out. That took 2-3 years to sort out, and now
Even-
he's sitting in a jail cell.
Look at Young Thug right now. You
Yep.
know, he was doing his thing,
Yeah,
living
he
that same
moving reckless.
moving reckless. Now it's all coming back to him now, and now he's in trial, going through a.
And they're saying
Rico
that
case.
trial's not gonna be done until 2027.
Nope. Yeah,
They're
it's a
saying,
lot.
another 3
Yeah.
years.
It's the longest and most expensive case in Georgia state history.
Another rapper.
Yeah, rapper.
Another rapper.
And there's murders involved and a lot.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
not necessarily from him, not him being the gunman, but him putting out hits and
him
a whole
telling
bunch
people
of
what
stuff.
the, you know.
Yeah,
They playing his songs in court now.
yeah, they're
trying
playing
to-
his songs, literally talking
they trying
about.
to like decipher what he did through his songs in
Yeah.
court.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And, he got songs. He's saying "F the judge," and, wilding out, talking about I got shooters, I got this, I got that. So it's like, man,
Yeah, his stuff. Not
like I
looking
said,
good
was
either.
it worth it?
Was it
But
worth
they're
it?
just moving. They're moving a certain way. They think that they're above, like,
Invincible, man.
Y'all can't stop me. Do what I want to do. But
Yeah.
no, man, they'll come stop you in your tracks. They're watching too.
Right.
Yeah.
And Diddy knew they were watching. Young Thug,
He knew.
R. Kelly, all these people that get locked up, they know that they were watching.
But
they
Diddy
still
was
say,
thinking in his head,
"Do
I'm
what I do."
54 years old. I've been doing this half my life.
Yeah.
They're not gonna come get me now.
Right.
And sure
And,
enough.
and I hate to say it, but as a black man in America, you got to
with
move
money.
different. With money.
Yeah.
You got to move different.
Yeah.
100%.
Because at the end of the day, they coming for you.
and
And
they
you know what I'm
watching.
saying? They like, okay, they gonna let you know this. We still make this world go round and round.
Yeah.
We need you to be in compliance.
Yeah. Right.
You know, if you're gonna do wrong,
Right.
do wrong right. I preach that from my pulpit. There's a right way to do wrong. But now you got people that they're, saying that underage.
Yeah.
I mean, we all see where R. Kelly is. He gonna be there for 30 years.
Yeah.
Unless a president come along and clemency
that ain't
him.
happening.
Right.
I don't see that coming down the pipe.
Not at
But
all.
but at the end of the day, it's really unfortunate. And the Bible again talks about being overtaken and whatnot. And spirits are real. And you got to be careful that you don't allow certain appetites to overtake you. And we literally see it in living color that R. Kelly's been literally overtaken,
100%.
by these different spirits, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Speaking of overtaking, man, Draymond Green got kicked out of another game.
This
Now,
brother.
we've talked about him before on the podcast. He's been ejected the most by far than any other NBA player that's playing currently.
Yeah, currently, yeah. Only person all time ahead of him is Rasheed Wallace.
Rasheed Wallace.
Is that right?
Rasheed
Wallace? He's the only person
Only
ahead of him.
one. And Draymond is coming for that title, boy. he on his way. I'm telling you right now. So he got kicked out again yesterday. The game was 6-6, which tells you a game had basically just begun.
Early on.
Early on.
You could see
And it wasn't even him that got fouled.
I know. It was
yeah.
just him talking to the ref, going crazy at the ref. And you know how he usually does, but being all aggressive. Long story short, I feel bad for Steph at this point. Steph is up there and he looked like so emotionally distraught. It looked like he was crying. Just out of pure frustration, because I know that Steph knows, even as great as he is, he knows that Golden State window is closing.
Yep.
Slowly but steadily.
Yep.
Draymond's getting older. Clay looks like a shell of himself, of his old self. You don't have the Iguodalas out there. You don't have Sean Livingston out there no more, and all these other guys.
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant, he's definitely not there no more.
Yeah.
So Steph is just like, I think he's starting to feel the pressure, man, that weight of the world. Because, he's always had solid role guys with him. And when you have a guy like Draymond, who is a triple single guy, we've talked about that before. He's going to give you 4 points, 8 rebounds. He's going to give you like 4 steals. Nothing crazy. But to lose somebody like him who helps kind of run that offense, I see Steph kind of being frustrated. But at this point, what do you do if you're the Warriors?
If I'm the GM, I'm cutting him today.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm parting ways. At the end of the day, this brother has been consistent.
Sure.
In a bad way.
In a bad way.
Consistently bad. Yeah.
So, I think I asked y'all like 2-3 weeks ago, I said, has Draymond done anything crazy
I was like,
lately?
man, he's actually been
We've
good.
been chilling, but
I'm like, he actually been good. Then when you saw the paper this morning, you said he got ejected again.
Yeah.
because he's consistent.
It's almost,
you know,
almost like a consistently bad kid in class. Like he get kicked out today.
Yeah.
We
You know
all
what I'm
had that
saying?
kid we went to school with, and we was like, man, I can't sit by him.
right.
bro.
Real talk.
I just can't sit by him.
real talk.
But now, I mean, like so you said you cut him.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Man,
I'm
if
done.
I'm the commissioner, I'm done, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
pack your bags, go to China,
Yeah,
go to
bro.
Europe, man. Go somewhere,
Not
dude.
the Beijing Tigers.
Man,
Yeah, the Wong Dong
go ahead
Tigers.
with Dwight Howard and them.
They,
bro.
they,
Yeah,
they,
go
need,
to Dwight
they, need,
Howard.
they need to meta world peace him.
Yeah, man. Hey,
Remember
Meta,
how many games was that? 50.
listen.
Yeah, something.
Meta didn't think he was going to. Well, it was Ron Artest at that point in time.
Right.
He didn't think he was going to get in trouble. He got in the locker room, looked at Steven Jackson, and said, "You think we're going to get in trouble for this?"
My
Man.
God.
Steven Jackson had to be like, "Bro, you be lucky we alive." I'm referring to the Malice in the Palace. If you don't know what that is, Google it.
Google it.
Crazy.
2000 and I want to say 5 or 6.
It's out there.
Man,
Man,
all
I
that
just
pop
I
up.
feel bad for Curry because right now the Warriors are fighting to even get into the playoffs. They're fighting to get into the play-in. A game to
Right.
see if they play a top seed. And Draymond's just thinking about himself. It's like, bro, this is the end of the year. Curry. Of course, Curry's still balling, but he's getting old. I think he's 35 now or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
So he doesn't have 10, 20 years to play or whatever. Like this dude's clearly getting older. Draymond's older. Clay's not the same. He can still hit threes here and there. They have a young core. So they don't have the championship roster of the past.
No.
But it's like, bro, give us a chance. We're trying to get into the playoffs, and you know how it is being a championship team.
You gotta
Curry,
get hot.
You can get hot. You know what I mean? We can mess around, get into the playoffs, and just start clicking and start winning. Let's actually get there. But for him to get ejected in the first 3 minutes of the game is crazy.
That's crazy.
He's a vet. He's a
Yes,
vet.
you're a vet. I can see you got a tech in the first and then another tech in the fourth. Okay, at least you played the full game.
Right.
And y'all watch enough Warriors basketball. Yeah, people talk about Draymond, but this dude, he's the glue.
He is.
He's setting up offense. He's getting Curry open, setting the screens, making the right passes. He is the reason. I think he's the ultimate, or he's at least the most underrated part of the Warriors dynasty.
Yeah.
Because this dude, he can do it all. Play defense. Of course, he's scoring 3-4 points, but
Right,
sure.
but his role's bigger than that. So
Sure.
Yeah.
I can see how Curry was on the sidelines, like, bro, come on, give us a chance. And for him to crash out during the game, he called the ref a BAN. That's what did it. He called him that, and the ref got him out of there. So it's like, bro, you can't just call a grown man that and expect nothing to happen.
And on top of
yeah.
that, with your behavior, you on a short leash.
Yes, bro, they know your
you
track
can't-
record.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
You can't do
essentially he's
nothing
on
wrong.
probation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
So,
we know how you are, bro.
Because how many games did they suspend him in the beginning? Do y'all remember?
I think it was wasn't it 16 games?
When he choked out
18
Gobert?
games?
After when he tried to kill Gobert.
Yeah, something like that.
something
It was
like
like
16,
yeah,
20
let's say
maybe.
16 or 20 games.
Yeah.
You got, and then they made him go to mandatory anger management
Because
classes.
it was attempted murder. You can't choke somebody.
Yeah, he started choking out Gobert.
That's
No.
Like
no,
if you
you know
hold
what it
onto
was?
his neck long enough, they could die.
No, because after he choked out Gobert, that's when he punched Nurkic upside the head.
Oh yeah, with the Suns.
Yeah, that was all this year. That's all this season.
This sounds made up. Like this whole,
Yeah.
like us talking about that sounds made up.
And we're not gonna mention how he missed Game 5 of the NBA Finals, cost his team a championship.
It did.
Because remember, he hit LeBron and the stuff, and then
Yep.
he got suspended for the Game 5. That's when LeBron and Kyrie had 41 each.
Yep.
In Golden State in the closeout game, they won that, made it 3-2. Went back to Cleveland, won that. Went back to Golden State, won Game 7. And now LeBron and Kyrie got a championship. And Draymond in that series would have won a Finals MVP. He was playing the best
Yeah.
on the court.
He
arguably.
was, and he was
Him
hitting
and
threes
LeBron.
back then too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you cost yourself not only a ring but a Finals MVP, and now you're gonna, you would think, all these years later after that happens, man, you know what? Getting myself in check. I done cost myself a Finals MVP, my team a chip. Let me, get me chill. No, it's gotten worse.
yeah.
Did we mention him beating that guy up at practice?
Oh yeah, he
forgot
done,
about
he
that.
done, he done knocked.
Man.
Yeah, he done knocked Jordan Poole's stuff loose.
He hit Jordan Poole so hard, he a Washington Wizard.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
He
I
hit
feel
that
the
boy
spirit
hard.
of overseas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you.
Yeah. Our-
So,
yeah.
so you the GM, you say you get him out of there.
I'm done.
You the GM, what you doing?
Man, he getting up out of here, man.
say
Like I
he's
said,
done?
go with Dwight Howard and them, bro.
Dang, what about you?
Man, I'm not saying kick him out the league unless he does something wild, but I think we might have to part ways because I just think he has it too. He's
It's not gonna
spoiled.
change,
He's
yeah.
spoiled, and he's writing checks that Curry has to cash. Like
Right.
the other day, the Rockets are on 10-game winning streak. They play the Rockets next. They asked him about the Rockets in a press conference. He says, "Oh, I'm not worried about the Rockets, bro. You about to get 5 points. You about to get a single.
Right.
Curry got to go out there and be Superman for y'all to win to get to the play-in. And you gonna say we ain't worried about them?
Yeah, man, just talking. I think it's
Yeah.
ego. It's ego. It's money. It's the fact of all the championships they have won together. And I think it's also the part that I think he's really struggling with is that the story's almost over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we've
Yeah.
all been athletes before, and you feel a certain way when like your time is coming to an end. You kind of feel it.
You do.
Yeah.
In your body, of course, but mentally it's like, dang, like this is really coming to an end. Like I remember being on the sideline at Scottsdale Community College. We're playing against Scottsdale Community College when I was at PC. And I remember putting my helmet on before the game thinking, wow, like this could be it for me. Like in that moment. And it's like, everybody deals with emotions differently. You know what I'm saying? Some people are frustrated and angry like Draymond is.
Yeah.
And some people can be sad and a shell of themselves like Clay.
Yeah.
You can tell Clay is just like not having fun no more because he knows like it's coming to an end. And that's hard. Something you've been doing since you was 5 years old.
And great at it. These guys
been great
at every level. You've been
great. Championships, everybody knows who you are and all these things that you've done for all these different cities, all the money you've made.
Yeah.
And you got to realize, man, in 2 years, like it's over.
Yeah.
Like
That kind of that does suck.
I gotta go start a podcast and like
Yeah.
figure out a different stream.
Figure out what's next.
Because you are officially unemployed.
Yeah.
You know.
I will say I'm excited for them to do that though, because I want to hear that locker room stuff with Draymond.
And Draymond, he has a podcast. Draymond can talk. He's gonna have a career in
He'll be
talking.
great.
And he's smart when it comes to the game. Like he can break the game down. That's why he got to the level he's at now. So it's just like you said. I think he's just dealing with the end like this, bro. That's why he's super frustrated. And he even said it when he knocked out Jordan Poole. They asked him, like he said he had personal things going on. It was bigger than just Poole. He was kind of just like the tip of the iceberg. So it's like dang man, it's just sad.
And we've all seen that because we're all human. We've all experienced that. But like we're saying, it's tough. Everybody deals with it in their own way. And it's unfortunate to see how he going out like this, basically violent. He kicking and screaming,
Literally, like on a baby
on his way out the league.
Yeah, like a bad little kid.
If I'm him at this point, man, I'm gonna go out with a bang. I'm gonna go out and do something wild, man. I'm gonna do a Malice in the Palace 2.0 something.
Wait, you start swinging on civilians.
Swing on the ref.
I'm gonna go out like AB, like how
Get the
AB went
popcorn,
out.
man.
Remember AB mid game just took off his stuff and left the stadium.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna go out like that. He might as well live up to the villain role, bro.
I mean, you are the villain at this point, man.
Yeah.
So, but
We're praying for that brother.
We are.
It's tough when you got to reinvent yourself and something's taken away from you, like you guys were saying, something you've been doing since your childhood. You go through major withdrawals, but good luck in reinventing yourself, and he'll do great. Like you said, Ira, he's articulate. He knows the game of basketball. I love watching him talk. Actually, I've watched a couple of his podcasts. So at the end of the day, I think he's definitely a year or two where the jig is up.
Yeah. I mean, it just is what it is.
KD saved y'all legacy. So I'm not gonna get
Yeah.
But 4-time champion, defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Like
it's great.
It's great.
There's a lot of people that can't say that. But
No.
that's true, man.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that we knew that was hoopers in college that can never say that. Like, for instance, Michael Beasley. We were talking about, I watched him on a podcast the other day. Was incredible at Kansas State. It's crazy how his career did end up.
He might be like one of the only players I can think of where I'm like, I just knew he was gonna be him.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Beasley didn't develop, but it was off the court stuff. He was getting in trouble even before he came into the league. So his head wasn't
His
on
family
right.
took all his money.
Exactly. And even Draymond. Draymond was a second round pick. He was at Michigan State for a minute, got out, did his thing off the bench, worked his way up. So like his story, he had to claw from the top. You know what I mean? He had to get there. So I can see how, he can kind of move around, kind of like a Ja Morant. Ja wasn't a 5-star product.
True.
He was of course he was number 2 pick of the draft, but he wasn't no Kentucky guy, no UCLA guy. He was at Murray State. Had to climb his way up from the bottom to get to the top. And these guys, they start showing their ASS a little bit. It's like, come on, man. Y'all gotta, remember where you came from.
But we're praying for Draymond. We hope that hopefully you don't lose your job. And hopefully, that y'all can make a run. They got a chance to make a run. The Warriors do. None of us in here are Warrior fans, but it is. I will say this. I guarantee the TV ratings are a lot better when they are in the playoffs.
It's Steph Curry.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you look at the viewership.
For sure.
It goes up a little higher than these new teams. These like the OKCs and the Wolves and the Rockets.
Yeah.
And, the teams.
Warriors are the number 1 team, most profitable team in the NBA.
I believe that. I believe that.
Over the Knicks, over the Celtics, over the Lakers, all of them. It's the Golden State Warriors.
Golden State.
That's crazy. Let's switch topics though, man. Let's talk about this Baltimore Bridge situation. I believe it was earlier this week. entire boat ran into the bridge. A boat Ira was telling me it came from India. It had a bunch of stuff on it. Ran into the bridge, and now they're pulling bodies out the water. And
So there were actual cars on the
there
driving.
were people. There were some workers that were working on potholes on the bridge at that time of night, because it happened at like 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
And so when the bridge went down, so did they. So I believe they've recovered like 2 to 3 bodies, but they're still looking for like 4 or 5 more. Our condolences to everybody who lost somebody on that bridge.
It's tragic.
You know, very sad situation. Something that's so unpredictable. You know, that's like equivalent to this room just blowing up right now. Like what for no reason.
Car running through here.
They thinking like 6, 7 people.
Yeah.
Right now they're thinking 6
casualties.
people deceased right now. 6.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you got to think, if they're working that late at night, usually it's younger men that are like working on potholes and things like the construction, you know.
Night shift guys, yeah.
Yeah, like usually, if I had to guess, once again, I don't know. This is simply speculation. But it's always sad anytime you see any type of loss for no reason, you know.
That's a major harbor as well, too.
Yeah, and especially it was incidental.
Export.
You know, I guess the engine on the boat,
the engine went out, the power went out. So if the power goes out, the engine goes out too. So like if you watch the video, the boat it made like an abrupt U-turn to come back for some odd reason. They don't know yet. But as it was coming back, you can see the boat kind of like drifting, like it almost was like out of control. Like the I don't know what the word is, but the back of the ship was kind of just like fishtailing, if you will. And it kind of fishtailed and made a turn right into the bridge.
Whoa.
Yeah, it collapsed.
Crazy, man.
Yeah,
Crazy
man.
stuff. And I've driven over that bridge before too, because I've been to Baltimore, the DMV area a few times back in college, and I'm like, dang, I know exactly what that bridge is, where it is.
Right.
Crazy.
Imagine that, though. Imagine you just working, doing your job, and the next thing you know, your whole world is crumbling. You know what I mean? That's what my heart hurts for those people, you know, that ended up, you know, obviously lost, and even the ones that were found deceased.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for the man driving the boat. I mean, to be real, I mean, if
captain.
it sounds to me, it sounds like there was nothing he could really do, and it was a malfunction or whatever it may be. And so, you know, I know he feels like, you know, he probably doesn't feel the best this morning waking up, you know, but condolences to all those people. And hopefully, I guess Joe Biden said we're gonna build it back. I was like, obviously, you can't just have like
there's gonna be a broken bridge.
Right? No, he said something about like America is gonna make sure we build that bridge.
Yeah, they're saying tax dollars are going to do it. You know, I'm like, hey, like how else they going to do it? You know, come in the market.
It's the only way we're gonna build it back.
Right.
You know what I mean? Unless we like got the guy's family who did it to come over here and fix it.
Yeah,
That's not.
Hey, you owe us. We gotta
you
pay up.
gotta build it.
IOU or something.
Yeah, like you know how much that steel's gonna cost, labor. Like, I can't imagine, but you know,
I still don't even know the process of how to build a bridge. Like, how do they get the cement to go into the water and into the ground?
it's super interesting. I watched a video on YouTube about them how they built the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco to Oakland. Like, it's actually crazy how they do it. It's just they got to go deep underground.
Yeah.
It's a whole bunch of machinery too. It's not necessarily manpower, you know. But I just couldn't imagine the process of it. It's just scary.
There's like these like underwater like cement buoys. I could be wrong, but like they stay balanced. Like so, there's not like a whole pole that goes straight into the ground and drilled into the ground. It's like it just stays still. It'll move, but the bridge will stay perfectly still. It's a lot of physics and science behind it. It's interesting.
See, if we was if we had to be bridge builders, boy, we'd just be telling people go around. I can't figure that out. The science of all that's crazy.
Tough.
That whole situation. But just want to send our condolences to those individuals out there in Baltimore, man. Hope that you know, things work out for the best, and you know, some settlements come too. You know, to make sure. Because once again, I think that has to be done. Not saying that money helps you and heals you, but I mean it does help with the process, if you will.
Right.
You know, as far as funerals and memorials, whatever you got going. So praying for you. Speaking of some of the a beef, if you will, Drake and Kendrick this week basically came out. Well, Drake has a song out right now. Essentially, it was called what was it called? Shooter.
First person shooter.
First person shooter. It was him and J. Cole. They were basically saying that they're the best with Kendrick as well. Kendrick came out this week and said, forget y'all two, I'm the best. And then now Drake, I guess, was on stage the other night in his shoulder pads talking about how, you know, he's the best, and you know the beef and this and that and that. There's a whole bunch of stuff. The reason why I'm bringing it up is I know Dad's not a huge like hip hop connoisseur like how we are this day and age. But do you remember any beef like as you were growing up, as far as like teenage, as a young adult or anything like that when you were like listening to hip hop?
Yeah, it's sad because, obviously, I'm 52, so I grew up with watching Tupac and Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. Matter of fact, those guys are literally my age. I think Biggie's a little younger than me by like a year, and then Pac was maybe 8 months older than me, and obviously they're both deceased, died in their mid to 20s. Early 20s because of all the beefing that was going on, which P. Diddy even had his hand in that a little bit too.
He was in the car in front.
Yeah, so to see both of those guys, the whole. Then you had what's his name involved in that. He's in prison now. Big fella. He was a blood. Suge Knight. He's doing a gazillion years. Yeah. And he was like, talking about no love for the West Coast. You had the West Coast, East Coast,
West
and
Coast, East Coast,
Snoop was all in the middle of that.
Yeah,
it was a mess.
That was like the pinnacle, in my opinion, of like hip hop, though. Like, because even now the beef that we're talking about don't compare to the beef that the East Coast and West Coast hip hop had in the 90s. Like, and it was literally a life and death thing back then.
And death.
But now I don't know if these dudes, if they saw each other, they would punch each other.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Exactly.
Or unless they got a shooter in the group, like most of them do.
Right.
But even like
to do the dirty work. But
but no, I'm saying like the beef back in the day, that was the real beef. Like there was actually fatalities involved.
Yeah.
And you could lose your life.
Lose your whole life.
Nowadays, man, these dudes gonna be bad. They're gonna be together in 3-4 years because Drake and Kendrick, they've been beefing for like probably it's been like almost a decade now, like subliminal little shots and songs and weird stuff. And then of course Future and Drake, Future's involved in a situation. Future and Drake have a collab tape together. They were kind of like known to work together. Now they found out, they saying I'm hearing from sources over a woman. You know how that goes.
I heard about that too.
And then now Rick Ross, he's involved, and Metro Boomin. I just think it's cool to show because you said it earlier how hip hop was West Coast, East Coast beef. But think about it. J. Cole, he's from Charlotte, North Carolina. Kendrick Lamar, he's from Compton, California. Drake's from Toronto, Canada. Metro Boomin's from St. Louis, Missouri. And Rick Ross from Miami, Florida. Like, this is literally beef from all over. You got literally North America, like I'm saying. So I think it's dope how like hip hop has evolved into a global thing. Of course, it's only in North America, but of course, hip hop started in New York. LA got it, then Atlanta took over the South. It's taken over rap completely the last by 20 years. So I think it's dope to see that the rap beef, it's not only people aren't dying first. That's the dope thing.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's the dope thing because I couldn't imagine being your age back in the day.
And we lose like a Drake.
Yeah, we lose a Drake or a Kendrick.
Lil Wayne or something.
Right.
And especially, at 25, 26 years old when they died, it's like, bro, we didn't even get to see them live it out.
Yeah.
Kendrick and Drake, they're in their 30s. So it's like, we saw their career pan out. But when Biggie and Tupac died, these guys were young. We didn't even get to see what they really could have became.
We really did.
And you know how it is as a man. I'm younger, but when you hit your late 20s, early 30s, you probably start hitting a different stride, different way of thinking. Their music could have got taken up to a different notch. Their music, they could have gotten to politics. They could have really tried to help activism. They could have tried to do more than just rap as a man. So to see young black men with so much potential, their lives get killed or lives get taken so short. It makes you think, they're beefing Kendrick and Drake and all that and J. Cole, all these people, but man, we all know this is just,
it's selling wolf chicken.
It's a little pitter patter. Like, come on, bro.
And it's all like GOAT debate, basically.
Yeah.
That's how I
Who's
feel
the
what it
best?
is. Who's the best? It's like a Michael Jordan and LeBron James, the whole type. How people just get beefing over that.
We're back in the 90s. It was who's like the thug.
Who's
gonna
survive the shootout? Like, it's a wild, wild west.
Who's gonna live?
But shout out to Kendrick though. I can't lie. I love how Kendrick's like, ain't no big three. It's big me. Like, I'm the one. And one thing about hip hop that we love is competitive. Hip hop is a combat sport. It's always been competitive since the early 1970s when they was breakdancing and who was the hottest DJ, who could mix the best. Like, this is how hip hop's been since the beginning of time. I just love the fact that nowadays, it's not going to end up in somebody dying. Like how it was back at 20, 30 years ago.
Which is good. And to piggyback off of that, like somebody like a Tupac, imagine Tupac at 40, 50 years old. He probably would have been like literally part of a Senate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was such a smart and intelligent man. And like, obviously that thug life stuff that he was doing, he was acting. People don't realize he went to an art school.
He sure did.
And like, I mean, he did great in Juice.
He killed Juice.
Man, I mean, if you look at his acting, and he was supposed to be in Baby Boy. He was supposed to be Tyrese's character.
Wow.
And Baby Boy, he would have killed that too.
Oh, he would have murdered
He would have killed it, but
murdered
unfortunately, he lost his life.
Yeah,
and
Look at that movie he was in with Janet Jackson.
Yeah,
Yep,
Poetic Justice.
yep, Poetic Justice.
Poetic Justice.
I mean, all these things like he was great at that, and he was one of the ones that could have been like an activist like one day and like really like made change.
Yeah.
You know, just for the better, especially in the black. He cared about the black community.
He sure did.
As well. You
Yeah.
know, and it's just unfortunate to see him gone.
He was literally your age, Ira, 25.
Yeah.
You know, and
And yeah, that's not even
and,
living
And
yet.
Biggie
Yeah.
Smalls was 24.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you Google, these guys were young and lives cut short, never reaching their full potential. And back then, I was their age, so it was heartbreaking to see how that went down. You know, and it's sad because you never hear that in other communities. You don't hear of Kenny Rogers having beef with, you know,
Right.
you know, some other
I'm with you.
country
Yeah.
person.
Justin Bieber,
Justin
Ed Sheeran, they got a shootout at the club.
Right.
Yeah. Who'd you say, Justin Bieber and who?
Ed Sheeran,
Yeah.
some other artist, like another
Wow.
artist, like a pop artist,
Right,
like
right.
We never
It's
hear
only in
Yeah.
the black community.
it is. It's
Yeah,
us.
it
It's
is.
just
It's sad.
It's us doing it to us. And like my boy Narva from Illinois, he always said, man, we got to do better, man.
Real
And I'm
talk.
hoping that one day we can overcome that. And I feel like we have made some steps.
We
from,
have.
from the standpoint of, you know, we
least
haven't
we're talking
had-
about it.
Right. We haven't had like a heavy hitter pass away, not since Nipsey, and that was
Yeah.
just because an idiot ran up on him.
we did have Pop Smoke get killed, which is still
You got
sad.
XXX
I remember that.
got
Yeah,
killed too.
X got
Dang,
killed.
now y'all making-
I
Yeah,
remember
man.
that.
Yeah, bro. Let's be rappers.
Yeah.
Rappers getting
Yeah,
killed.
these guys
Takeoff
didn't
just
reach
got
their
killed.
full potential.
Yeah, that was
Takeoff.
Yeah, Takeoff.
Oh,
got-
Takeoff
yeah,
in Houston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Houston got
And then
killed.
Juice World was popping pills and all this and
Yeah.
that, and got him. Well, he
Whatever
didn't
happened,
get killed, but
we
he
never
killed
figured.
himself.
They never found out who did
Takeoff? They
right?
did.
They did.
Oh, yeah, he got
Yeah,
arrested.
he got arrested.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's trial's still going on.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he got arrested. The
Okay,
person who
good.
killed him. So it happens. Even like Pop Smoke, young rapper, 20 years old. He was about to blow up.
Man.
Yeah.
He from New York, was in LA, posted. Next thing you know, some little young dudes under 18 came to the crib under 3, 4 in the morning, killed him. He wasn't trying to give his stuff up, got killed. So it's like, man, like, and that wasn't beef.
That's what
That
I'm
was-
saying. Like
yeah.
everything we just mentioned
Yeah.
never happened because of beef.
It wasn't beef.
of the rap game.
Right.
That's just people in
That
the
was
streets
people
being stupid
being in the
that tried
streets.
to. They
Yeah.
tried to rob Pop Smoke. Oh boy was jealous of Nipsey.
Yeah. XXX.
XXX trying to get robbed.
He got robbed.
You know, like.
But
stuff
I know
like
what you
that.
mean though. By
Yeah.
actual rap beef, guys making diss tracks at each other. Of course, Tupac may hit him up.
Yeah.
Young Dolph. That was a hit.
Man.
That was a hit.
King Von.
King Von. Yeah, that was fight outside the club. He got shot.
all outsiders.
But that was also beef too. But that was over. A girl. It's like. But I know what you mean though. By actual, rap
beef.
music.
Rap
like,
beef,
of
though.
course, you had Biggie May Who Shot You. Tupac may hit him up. Stuff like that. They was throwing shots, and then
Right.
they were saying the guy we talked about earlier. They said Diddy had his hand. They said Diddy had a hit out for Pac. That's a whole different situation.
Right.
Which he probably did because Pac was coming at them boys hard.
Yeah,
man.
he was.
Had fake ones.
That first
yeah.
line and
Hit him up.
hit him up.
Yeah, man,
I'm
he's-
not gonna repeat it. You can Google that on your own.
Yeah.
But that first line before the music started,
He
I
had
said,
them in
"Oh
the
my
videos. Yeah, it was rough.
God." He did what to whose wife? What?
Yeah. But no, but hopefully though. Yeah, but hopefully with this whole Kendrick Drake situation, J. Cole, I hope some good music comes out of this.
Yeah, I think it will.
Because hip hop has definitely not been the same.
Yep.
Like we said earlier, Zay, with the 1990s, that was the golden age of hip hop.
100%.
Yeah.
That's when it was at its peak.
100%.
Nowadays, hip hop's, it's
All you need is a good
Yeah.
beat and some
good
gibberish
beat, and I'm popping pills, I'm doing this, I'm running. No, we want to get back to lyricism. So
Yeah.
hopefully the bars come back.
Right, we'll see, man. We'll see. I'm speaking of change. Before we finish and before we kind of get out of here, there was a comment that was made at a specific church in America, a pretty big church, that basically was alluding to the fact that they didn't want to say anything about the blood of Jesus,
Right.
anymore in their church because it makes people feel uncomfortable. To me, I feel like we grew up in a church where it was a Baptist. Our grandfather was a bishop out here, and so my earliest memories was talking about the blood of Jesus.
Sure.
Which we all know the blood that speaks of forgiveness and grace and mercy
Yeah.
and all those things that's why we do church.
Amen.
That's how, I don't know about y'all, but that's how I get through my every day. knowing that
Absolutely.
I know I'm not a perfect man, but man, I'm glad I got the blood of Jesus.
That's right.
That speaks of covering and safety and grace and mercy, all those things. I don't know about you, but I was a little taken back hearing that the blood is making people feel uncomfortable in church and making them feel as if I guess you can say squirmy, if you will. and they basically said they're not going to use that term anymore to suffice or to make the people feel comfortable. How do you feel about that in this day and age?
Yeah, it's really disappointing. Hebrews 13:8 says God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. There's no way in the world that you can leave the blood out, especially, on a resurrection Sunday, and not even mention the blood, because we got to remember God is more blood based than he is behavior based. If it wasn't for the blood, I mean, come on. Back in the Old Testament, they were being judged based on behavior back then.
Right.
You had, people being stoned to death for certain sins and things of that nature. But thank God that the blood, it wipes out not only our past, but our present and future sins. So for somebody to say that they're not going to talk about the blood or Calvary, and I think it was another thing that was mentioned as well, they're not going to talk about the blood, they're not going to talk about Calvary. I'm just like, now we're compromising, and the whole aim I heard, I don't fully know the story, but they don't want to make people feel uncomfortable.
Right.
And it's sad because as pastors, there are going to be some Sundays where we have to make the people feel uncomfortable, because our job is to challenge people to change, to make adjustments in their life so they can be better individuals. Even Galatians 4:16 says, have I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? I owe it to you to give you truth, because even John 8:32 says, and the truth will set you free. And there's a way to give people truth. You give it to them in love, and so, you guys have been in the ministry forever, here at Kingdom, and we talk about our altar area being a no judgment zone.
Right.
So we want all those that are not born again, are rededicating their life. We want them at the altar. We want to talk to them about the blood and the significance of the blood, and how it's the blood that washes away, our sins, and that's why we even have communion.
Right.
So it's disappointing, and to be honest with you, and I've said this maybe months and months ago, it's just going to get worse.
Yeah.
You said it earlier, Isaiah, about Isaiah 5:20. It says that good would be evil, and good would be evil would be good, and good would be evil, and we're living in that time today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's
100%.
unfortunate, man, because like you said, we grew up off the blood of Jesus. Like, whenever I feel something in my spirit around the house, or if I feel like scared, or if I feel down or whatever, I just say the blood of Jesus over my life.
Amen.
And I still plead the blood, because
That's
the blood
right.
still works. I
That's
mean, I see
right.
it work on Sundays. I see it work on
Yeah.
Wednesdays. And like, I'm not trying to like throw other churches under the bus. Like, God is good for churches being out, but it's more like a hangout nowadays. And that's what I like about our churches. It's not it's a hangout. We come
Sure.
here, we come together, we're cordial, we talk, but at the same time, we teach on the blood, and we still believe in
Right.
people getting saved. We still believe in people getting demons cast out of them, chains broken off of people.
That's
I
right.
feel like nowadays it's okay. Let's go to church. Let's go get a coffee. Let's go home. But
100%.
when we come here, it's man, let's go get a word. Let's go get redeemed. Let's see people have their breakthrough. Let's plead the blood of
Right.
Jesus.
That's right.
And it's just really sad how things are going now. But at the same time, I'm glad that we grew up in a traditional yet modern church. I feel
Right.
like we're the best of both worlds here.
Yeah.
Not that we're the best church in the world, but I'm just saying, giving an example.
Sure.
Kind of comparing the two. So
Yeah.
I think it's mainly, a lot of these churches nowadays in 2024, a lot of not only churches but pastors, everybody like that. It's not blood based anymore. It's bread based. They want that cheese. They want that money,
My
straight up.
God.
And guess
You
what?
speaking.
Them not,
Jesus.
not trying to make the people uncomfortable and feel squeamish, just because they want more people to come in, which could, generate more. And one thing about you, when you and Mom, when y'all first got into the church or first founded Kingdom in the Valley, it was never about money.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
And of course, you
Right.
can benefit from having a financial or a great church. You can
Sure.
benefit financially from having a big church, or selling books, ministry, whatever else it is.
Right.
And, that's how it is. You guys getting money back or living a certain way. That's the Bible talks
Right.
about that all the time. A
Yep.
prophet should get a prophet's reward.
That's right.
So nothing wrong with that, with wanting to
Right.
live a good life, but that
Right.
should not be your
End all,
that
be
should not
all.
be the end all be all.
That's right. I agree.
And a lot of these people, they want the churches to fill up. They want their online, everything to blow up. And they don't want people at all to have a reason to leave. They want them to keep on giving their units, keep on doing what
Wow.
they do. And, have a good day. Get your little coffee, get your bagel. We'll see you later.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Right.
And that's backwards. That's why a lot of people, we see it. You can correlate the current state of not only America, but the world with the downfall of the blood and these conversations in church. Look at it. Last 20, 30 years, everything has been going downhill because we're not talking about the real no more.
My
We want
God.
to make people feel good, get in the car, get home, and they back on the same BS.
Right.
And that was never the aim. That's how it shouldn't be. So,
That's
you could, like I said, you could directly correlate it. So a lot of these churches aren't blood based. A lot of these pastors, they're not blood based. They're bread based.
My God.
and that is
Jesus.
it's
Wow.
and it's sad because it's not gonna, monetary gain's great. You get to live a certain way, go on vacations, have a nice car, all that stuff. That's great. But you're not looking at the congregation, how the congregants, and not only them, but the future generations, the kids growing up, are gonna suffer ultimately.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like back to the whole Diddy stuff. Is that money even worth it?
My
Is that lifestyle even worth it? Because it's gonna affect something bigger than you.
You said from blood based to bread based. That'll preach.
Yep.
And already they've excommunicated the power of God out. That power's been gone from the church for a while now.
Yeah.
And it's sad because the Bible says that in the book of Timothy, it says they have a form of godliness and denying the power thereof. And we're living in that time where a lot of people just have a form of godliness. Now we've given the power of God the left foot of fellowship. Now we're giving the blood of Jesus the left foot of fellowship. It's really unfortunate because last year when I taught on Easter, I talked about how the blood did three things. It caused us to not only be redeemed, but reconciled and made righteous. Because 2 Corinthians 5:21 says that he knew not sin, but he became sin for us that we might be the righteousness in him. And none of us do everything right. But that doesn't necessarily mean you lose your righteousness. You still have that because of the blood, because of the resurrection. So it's just disappointing now that you have, churches that are deviating, not only from the power of God, but now from the blood. I never thought it would be the day that somebody would say, I'm not talking about the blood of Jesus on Resurrection Sunday.
And church was never meant for you to feel comfortable.
Right.
It was never meant like this. It's like working out. When you work out, it's not comfortable. It makes you uncomfortable, but you get the results.
Right.
That's how church has always been since the beginning of time.
It's good.
You shouldn't walk in there and want to feel like leaving, feeling. You should leave there questioning yourself. That's how church should be. You shouldn't leave there having no questions and just, oh man, just go in the car, go on with my day. Like, no, what is this?
Right.
You're not getting there's nothing you're getting out of it besides just saying you went to church.
Right.
And it's like,
what the church reminds me of now? You guys are aware of the gym, what's it called? Planet Fitness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the purple, all the purple equipment. And at the reason why I kind of laugh at Planet Fitness and people that go there is because they serve pizza every Friday at Planet Fitness.
Oh, wow.
And donuts in the morning at Planet Fitness.
and they can make you leave. Sorry to cut you off. They can make you leave. You gotta say that.
If you got on a tank top and you're ripped, they can ask you to leave.
Yes.
Because you're discouraging the other people.
What?
Yes.
Am I lying?
Or
Yes,
if
it's
you got too much weight on,
or too
because,
much weight,
they'll
or
be
you're
like,
too
oh, you
muscular.
gotta get out of here.
If you slam your weights, they have a horn that goes off.
Yeah.
And if you're deadlifting, we've all deadlifted some pretty heavy weight in our life. If you drop the weight, that horn will go off, and an employee will come over, and they'll either ask you to stop, or they'll ask you to leave. That type of gym is literally what the church is now.
Jesus.
Where there's equipment there that can help you change, but there's also all these other, I guess you could say, not just temptations, but all these other excuses not to perfect what you're trying to obtain. Where if at a gym, you should never there should not be. We all know pizza is delicious.
Sure.
But if you eat pizza every day the rest of your life, you're not gonna be looking right.
Pizza at the gym.
You're not gonna be
Donuts.
You're not gonna be the healthiest if you eat donuts every single morning to start your day.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I believe that's what the church has become nowadays. It's more of I just want to make you feel good.
Wow.
And feel better.
Yeah.
Rather than change your life for the better. I feel like it's more of a, and like Ira said, it's not just Bible based. It's bread based, and at this point in time, the more I can make individuals feel comfortable in church, the more they'll want to come back.
Yes.
Where it should be, the more I feel challenged in church.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what makes me want to come back, because if you're challenging me, I'm getting better. Just like when it comes in weights. If you lift the same weight, you curl 45 pounds every day for the rest of the year, you're gonna be strong. You're gonna a significant, muscle mass on you.
Sure.
But if you increase that weight as you go higher and higher and higher, your muscles get bigger naturally. That's just how our bodies work.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing in the spirit.
Right.
If you're not being challenged
good.
each and every day or
good.
each and every Sunday,
Right.
you're going to stay the same.
Yeah.
Even if your consistency is cool, and you can be fine with being consistent.
Yeah.
But I want to be better every single day.
Yeah.
That's
you
right.
know, I'm not going to be perfect,
Right.
but I want to be better.
That's
you
right.
know, and so that's the thing.
Right.
That's where we're at in the church world now. So to hear that statement this week, it took me back, but I'm like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
You know, that's just kind of been the way we've been going.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at the quote unquote mega church.
Yeah. And the Bible says in the last days that there will be a great falling away. And I believe we're in the last days. I mean, this thing could go another 100, 200 years, but we're definitely seeing signs of the end times. When you start seeing people talking about, I'm not going to talk about the blood. And to me, that's just a falling away.
Yeah.
And the Bible even says in Matthew chapter 7, it says a lot of people are going to say, Lord, Lord, I prophesied in your name. I drove out demons in your name. But then it says, but I never knew you, you worker of iniquity. Depart from me. It says, because you practice lawlessness. Read that when you get a chance. That's in Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 through 23. And so, and you got to remember too, James 3:1, it says, I desire that many of you not be teachers, because your judgment will be stricter. So pastors, especially, you got to be careful, because God has put you in a position of influence where you have the ability to influence thousands of people as far as butts and seats and people online. So our judgment is going to be a little more different than somebody who's just a lay member, because your words carry weight. So now that you're, saying that you're not going to teach on the blood, that's a compromise. And I'm not going to, I would not be surprised if we'll see more of that coming here in 2025. And it's unfortunate again. We got to stick to the word. The Bible says that heaven and earth shall pass away, but his word abideth forever. And I tell people all the time, it takes three things to build the kingdom of God. It takes a lot more, but the three main things I believe it takes: number one, you need to have love in that church. You got to have the word, and that last thing is you got to have some money. I mean, so Ecclesiastes 10:19 says that money, it answereth all things. But remember, it's money with a mission. So it shouldn't be money over the blood. It shouldn't be bread over blood. At least it shouldn't be.
MOB, money over blood. It ain't MOB.
I started thinking about the other MOB, but we won't go there.
We ain't gotta go there, man.
Jesus.
Just keep it at that.
Nevertheless.
You good?
Yeah,
Okay, cool, man. Hey, listen, I want to thank you all for watching another episode of Still Strong Podcast, season number 2. Want to make sure that you click that subscribe button, also the notification bell, so that way you get notified every single time one of these podcasts drops on a Friday. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We hope you have one of the best weeks of your life, and go Wildcats.
Peace.